There's quite a few different ways to do it. One of them is conditional compilation. I don't know who's been a developer for more than 10 years, but this used to be the standard or something. And it just avoid that at all costs. If you see that, remove it, or cry, I don't know, just go away. And always be wary of conditional comments. These things are evil. So if your doc type, or say you don't have a doc type, or you've got the wrong doc type, and it triggers quirks in the page, then your document your document mode won't understand HTML5 tags, but your browser mode will still think it's IE9. So I think this is Remy Sharp put together this little bit saying, okay, just embed this into your page and it'll sort everything out. But in this scenario, it thinks it's IE9, so this script won't get called, and your HTML5 tags won't get rendered. So be wary of conditional comments. I'll come back to those in a sec. So iframes as well. It does something really bizarre. If you load a page up and you say compatibility header, and you say, okay, I want this site to run in IE8 because it looks great in IE8. In IE9 it doesn't look so hard. So I'm going to force that. But then if I'm running an iframe here, and I say, okay, I want this iframe to be IE9, and this is like a typical, if you're embedding a widget or something, it will come in iframe, then its conditional comments will say, yeah, I'm IE9. But then its document mode and its user agent will say that it's IE8. So then bugs start to appear. So that could be a problem. Going back to that jQuery bug. So when I said get elements by tag name, it wasn't a value of that node, that DOM element we were passing to jQuery. And the problem there was the IE9 has now become a bit more standards compliant. So I said they've become very standards compliant, and they've become much more in line with other browsers, including taking out some stuff which has broken some code. So get elements by tag name is no longer part of document fragment. So that's what caused the bug. And the problem was that they were assuming because it was IE that it supported this, and that was a big no-no. So here we've got it basically simple was they were creating a clone of a node, and they were firing an event, and they would firing an event on the clone, and if they said, okay, no clone event, false, okay, then we assume it's IE, okay, the document fragment supported get elements by tag name, and relax, but no, it doesn't work. So that came out in jQuery 1.5. And how the guy from the Huffington Post reported that problem, John Weissig said he'd take a GitHub commit over a CV any day. And had the guy from Huffington Post publish that and let it be known that he could be working for the Switzerland of browsers right now. Okay, so lesson 4, feature detect, and that's what I've been trying to say. Always detect the features that you're using. So this is an example, and detect feature in it, you get the title. So like the JSON error we had at the start, just check for JSON. Don't assume that because of the browser type it's going to be there. And going back to that jQuery bug, if they'd just done get elements by tag name in there, I think they fixed it with query selector, but you can look that up. So it's the same with HTML5. Don't use Remy Sharp's wrap it in conditional comments. Don't use it. Just this is how Modernizer does it, and it's a lot better. It's just you create the DOM elements, you put it in with inner HTML, and you check the length whether it works or not, and that's a much safer way to do it. And you have to think several things. You have to think, you have to think, can I and should I? So for instance, this is white space, and I don't know if you've worked with IE8 or IE7, but they've got this weird thing where you put string into any DOM element, and it just trims out all the the new line characters and all the new tabs. So that's fixed in IE9. But they were just assuming that because IE9 is the only, or sorry, IE was the only one who supported outer HTML in Element, and that's a detection for IE. And so then to do this hack, and that's weird because if you've got any properties or events which are attached to the pre, then they get lost because you're overwriting everything. So this is a much safer way to do it. So you go in inner HTML, and you basically recreate the error. So you say, should I? Basically, you check, you do the test, you create a DOM element, you put a break in it, and then you test whether the element still has that new line character in there. And then you say, okay, can I? So it's should I, can I? Then use the hack, and then otherwise just do normal JavaScript. Okay, so that's all well and good, but really, to take a lot of the pain out of this, you should really be using libraries and JavaScript APIs. And there's some great ones. Modernizer just fixes everything and just lets you know what you can access. There's no point in going through all the different tests. jQuery support again. I mean, jQuery is amazing because if you think all the query selectors, there's so many different sort of exceptions to them that if you're going to write those, then and sort of hope it works perfectly in query selector, I think that's a bit silly. So anyway, polyfillers, yeah. HTML5 boilerplate, I think it's just got some really good practices in there. So use these ones, and then you'll create like a cross-browser experience for your clients. Right, so I think the main thing is, you know, whether you're going to use IE9 or not, you need to support your client's browsers. So be clever, sort of work out what they're using and test for it. So if you want to test for IE9 in the user agent, there will be Trident /5.0, which is the rendering engine. IE6, people say it's still like 6%, but IE6 is only popular in China, and that's probably because they nick loads of PCs and they don't have licenses for them. Sorry. Can we edit this? So, literally, I mean, again, just look at your market if you're wondering what browsers to support, because you can't literally support every one. So, look at your markets, and you'll get that in your document, in your logs. Okay, so, that's my 5 lessons over. That's just my little brand. It's good to get it off my chest. So the other thing which we do, which we've been sort of suggesting to clients, is to use site mode. So all the PMs in that, and product managers in the room will enjoy this part. You'll probably be asleep. So the whole concept of Internet Explorer 9 and site mode was an ability to amalgamate the desktop and the browser and the web pages, and to make web pages feel more like native apps. So this is traditionally what you've got in Windows 7, and here I've got Windows Media Player, and here I've got Messenger, and if I right-click over Messenger, I get like quick links to parts. I can even change my status. In the Media Player, I can skip tracks and such, and that's really cool. And so why can't you do that with browsers? Well, you can. And this is a website which I wrote called tubify.com. And what I'm doing is I grab the tab here, and I pin it to my taskbar. I'm cool because I've got my taskbar on the left-hand side, not the bottom. And okay, I've been playing a few tracks on there, and I right-click over my little icon. And I've got all these menus, so I have all the tracks that I've listened to, and I've got great music taste. And what's the point? So how do you do that? How do you put that list inside? So you can put meta tags in there in your page, and it allows you to sort of create this rich interface, and you can specify what image you give it comes from the fav icon, and then you can specify what your start URL is, so they can literally pin any site, any page in your website, and it goes to your home page or something. So that's pretty nifty. And okay, so on Tubify, it's my media playing site. So I added a bit of code, and I've created these buttons. So when you hover over it, you can, if you don't like this track, it's a good track actually. The guys from London. and you can like pause it, you can skip to